there, another edition of GROCK Rising, Erin, Vogt, and with us the Caterpillar book. Very good friends of GROCK Rising, because you guys have really utilized our passion as to why we're doing GROCK Rising here at GROCK. We'll get into that in a second, but we have Ryan, Chris, Dan, Vern, and John with us. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you. My pleasure, thank you.
We're catching you at a very exciting time, because you're all longtime musicians, veterans of the New Jersey scene. 3 of you have been playing together since you went to college together, right. And no strangers to G-Rock or to HTG, Modern Rock of the Jersey Shore. You've been with the station for as long as many of our listeners have, and other musicians who've been in for GROCK Rising. And then later on in your musical lives together, you had Vern and John join you as well. So it's great to have you in your new embodiment, I guess you can call it, as the Caterpillar book. The new album, pretty much right out as we speak, as you're watching this GROCK Rising, maybe this summer. How it's been a long journey for you guys with this album, right?
Well, it started, we were playing, Chris, Dan, and I have been playing for about 17 years. And after about, the 10th year mark, we went and we got our jobs, and, I got married and had a family, and Dan got married, and we only played 1 day a year, pretty much. And, Vern and I are both teachers. Oh, he retired, lucky him. We're teachers at a middle school, so what we would do is there'd be a concert every spring of every year, and we would get together. We didn't have a bass player anymore, so Vern would play bass with us. And after doing that for several years, we were like, you know what, why don't we just decide to, we'll get down, we'll record like 9 songs or whatever that we've never been able to do in the past, and we'll just get it done. And we thought that that's what Vern wanted to do as well. But, 2.5 years later, Vern is like, no, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So he has really been the one that's pushed us, because we were just going to throw, 9 songs down, and our vision, I think, was like, maybe a month or 2, we'd have it done. And
couple weeks.
So, close to 2.5 years later, it's been a really long process, but we actually started writing songs again, and that wasn't really the idea, I don't think, in the beginning. We were just going to, maybe write 1 song or whatever, but we had so much good old stuff, and now we still have all that good old stuff that we haven't been able to do because we wrote all new stuff.
It evolved.
It did evolve.
It sounds like it, definitely. A really inspirational story, I think, for a lot of GROCK Rising bands or just solo musicians out there. We've seen a lot of that through GROCK, through our Social G network, where people are talking back and forth, and you'll have guitarists and different members of used to be bands along the Jersey scene who really still have the passion for the music as a fan and even as a musician, but don't necessarily have that outlet to play. So how has this kind of second time around, where you mentioned the family thing and kind of having to juggle the real responsibilities and then what you're really truly happy doing with the band, how has the family and the friends worked into it? Is it a good support system? Is it still kind of trying to explain sometimes why you might not be home right away or for every meal? Or
For me, I have young kids, so at first it was like, oh, Daddy's going to go to the studio, and I was like, oh, it's only going to be a couple weeks,
Right.
Then, they would wave at the door and be like, okay, come back soon. Now they're like, oh, you got to go to the studio again, blah, blah, blah. So that part's been a little difficult, but it's been fun to play again.
Right.
And, these guys have their own stories of the different bands that they've played in. So, I mean, it's really great for me to, still play with Chris and Dan, because we have that history, but then being injected with a lot more energy from John and Vern, because they've made it in the music scene in their own right at different periods in time. So Vern brings in the old rock and roll element, like the original rock and roll element, what he was influenced by, and that comes into the music, which is exciting. And John just really flowed right into everything that we were doing guitar wise, which was really fabulous, and we didn't think that was going to happen. We had another guitarist that played predominantly on the CD, and we knew it wasn't like a long-time thing. He was just going to come in and help us out. He was playing in another band. But we really liked the sound of that additional guitar, because in the past we didn't have that. And we're like, we're never going to find somebody who's committed and is like really, really good, I'm like, we'll just maybe, borrow some people here and there. And John came in, and it was just like, it's absolutely What do you guys, for you, this second time around, or 8th time around?
You've just been going around. I don't think you
I haven't been going around. I haven't gotten anywhere yet. No. It's great for me to be playing with these guys, because the rock and roll band I originally played with, which I still play with, it remains, in the 60s. We met at college and formed the same kind of a friendship that these three guys have from meeting in college, which is like really neat.
Yeah.
And 40 some years later, the Remains still get together
Right.
and go out on the road and play. And we just filmed a documentary on the Remains. So every so often, a couple times a year, we go out and we'll go to Europe together usually.
Oh wow.
To play. We'll play in Spain or Holland or France or Germany or whatever.
Yeah.
And these guys, Chris and Dan and Rye, have a lot of that same sense of camaraderie, I guess, that the Remains have. So for me, it was great to be able to kind of come into a situation where the guys in the band already have this very comfortable kind of rapport with each other, and where that's actually more important than playing music, is being really good friends.